If you've seen the build-up for the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, there's one guy who stuck out the most. Messmer the Impaler. He appeared on the cover of the DLC, had a massive show in the trailer, and he was even the statue for the DLC Collector's Edition like Malenia was when the base game came out. So I wanted to challenge myself to beat all 11 DLC main bosses using only Messmer equipment. I hope you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to follow me on Twitch to watch these challenges live, and subscribe to the channel to help out a lot. After spending 30 minutes making our Tyrant, we wake up at Mohg's Arena at level 150, dap Miquella up, and enter the lands we're about to conquer. Our first step is to collect some Skadoodle fragments, so while I'm doing that, let me explain to you the rules of this run. Since it would be pretty easy to just go and beat Messmer first, I decided to limit myself to one item per boss that I beat. That will make it so I have some sort of an unlock system, so we can gradually get stronger as the run progresses. Now, this rule is excluded for the first boss, which leads me to step number 2. There are 3 items for us to get before challenging our first boss: the Fire Knight's Seal and Armor, and the Fire Serpent Incantation. All 3 of these are conveniently placed quite close to each other in Messmer's castle area. We first have to break this rock below Fort Reprimand, which is located here on the map, take the Spirit Springs up above Castle Incest, make a small jump, and start running northwest until we get to this grace. Now all I had to do was to make it to this drop down located here, climb up the ladder, and run all of this way before making it to the church district. Now all that was left was to pull the lever to drain the water, run past the Fire Knights, and pick up the seal behind the statue. Now that we had a weapon, it was time to gather the ammunition. I take the elevator to the specimen storehouse, take the ladder up, and in the corner on a corpse lays the Fire Serpent. All that was left was to pick up my brand new Supreme Armor, which I totally farmed. Now that we were all set up, it was time to choose the first boss, and rather than go for the obvious decision, which would be Messmer, I decided to challenge Commander Gaius first. I pick up the Skadoodle fragment next to his arena, completely forget to use it to level up, and march head on into the fight. Damage check. Not bad. Oh my god, his damage is bad. Yo, 1000 is not bad. So after a pretty inspiring first attempt, I finally decided to level up my Skabab level, equip the fire damage and charge attack tiers, and try my luck once again. But, as you could expect, Commander Gaius didn't let up without a fight. It seems like everybody hates the Commander Gaius fight, but my only real beef with him is his extremely questionable hitboxes. But most of his attacks are pretty good for my build, allowing me to punish him quite frequently with the Fire Serpent. We can abuse the phase 2 transition to get a few more sneaky hits in, dodge his swipe attacks, and continue to throw balls in his face until he crumbles under the pressure. Hey! There we go. First remembrance down. Easy. Now that Gaius is down, I can pick up the Skabapples behind his arena, then head to pick up our next piece of the build, which is the Flame Spear Ash of War, which is guarded by this Fire Knight. I immediately get hit by my own future skill, then engage in a good old Fireballs brawl. Eventually, I turn out victorious. Well, on the second try, that is. I equip the Ash of War, step my way through Ballarat, and head into the fight against the Dancing Lion. Oh, good damage. Nice damage, yeah. Damn, son. Oh, shit. Good damage. Woo! Damage! Oh my god! Alright. As it turns out, our little fire build does so well against the lion that he goes down on the very first try. It was now time to head to Castle Penis, where we'll be fighting our next Remembrance boss, Relana. The fight against Relana is just so darn good. The pace is so high that I can hardly find space for my Ash of War, so I use the Fire Serpent to whittle her health down and try to find openings to give her Fire Spear backstrokes. That leads me to taking a few deaths, but eventually with enough tries to get the timing down, I put an end to the Twin Moon Night.
Oof. Oh, she does the fire. That's good for me. Music is so good. Later. Let's go.
Now that we've killed Renala's hotter sister, I thought it was time that we finally take down Messmer. A quick damage test on the Ash of War reveals that I am weaker than a newborn, which is something that I didn't really like, so after dying to this guy for about an hour, I decided to go farm my next item. And since this is Messmer's Soldier's Spear, it only makes sense that I can use it in the fight against him, right? Anyway, I head back into the fight to test out my damage, and although it's nothing to write home about, the quick poke's extra damage is enough to stack up in the long run. Sadly though, it doesn't help me with getting my ass beat, so I let Messmer toss me around like I'm his plaything for a little while longer before making it to the second phase after an hour and a half.
Oh, second phase, dude.
Here, our edgelord has had enough of us trying to copy him, so he decides to pull off a stunt that we can never copy, which is, well, being a fucking snake. Still though, I try again and again to topple this based snake, coming really close at times, but eventually, as everything else, Messmer too shall fall.
Okay, good. Good stagger as well. Okay. Stagger. Goodbye.
Narca,
Easy.
a curse upon thee.
What a boss, dude.
Now that we finally had the soul of our idol, it was time to cash it in at the local shop, give it an upgrade, and get the rest of our Fire Lord drip. We have now officially beaten Elden Bling. I wanted to go test out our brand new weapon, and who better than our weak to fire damage friend, the neighbor's weed plant. A couple of bonks on the head reveal that we do in fact deal fat damage, but Flowey here didn't really like it and struck back. After long deliberations, I was finally able to convince Flowey that the world of Undertale would be better without him, so he decides to step down, but not before giving me the coolest Ash of War kill ever recorded.
There we go. That was beautiful.
I agree with that, Nathan. With the flower burnt for its medicinal purposes, I started pathing towards our next area, but an ancient dragon man has appeared in my path. He was very upset and wanted some of our flour, but I called no sharesies, so he goes back home empty-handed. A bit later, I take a leap of faith to reunite with my old foe for an extremely fair fight. After honoring the dead, getting hit by Goat Sonic, and chatting up a fiery dragon lady, I decided to go spelunking a bit. I end up near a ledge and decided to take yet another leap of faith, only to meet up with my least favorite boss in the DLC, the pure trash-ass knight. Although on paper this boss might not seem that bad, the thing that makes me hate him is the wasted potential. I wish they gave up on the flame attacks and doubled down on the duo horse combos. But as the saying goes,
it is what it is. It is what it is.
So I decided to resort to the only viable tactic, which is winning. I switched up to the Fire Serpent as it was more versatile and had way more openings than my weapon, and since a fully charged Serpent dealt 1200 damage, this was way more than sufficient enough to take down the Knight. But you can take the build out of the Messmer, but you'll never take the Messmer out of the build.
Another one.
It was finally time to gather our final part of the build, and to do that we're going to use the Remember's duplication tomb here on the map. I then get convinced by a dude in a wizard costume to blow on two massive black objects dangling as if this was a low-budget porn. I should probably cut that joke out. Anyways, I had to Firelink to pick up Messmer's orb to complete my build, and quickly get a willing test subject to try it out on. With a disappointed taste in my mouth, I had to fight against the Mother of Fingers. A quick damage check shows that both Fire Serpent and my Ash of War are not going to be the most optimal way of fighting her, so I decided to opt into the good old jump attack method, which actually turned out to be quite great.
There we go. This does 3.4, definitely go for the stagger. Nice. Easy.
With Mother dead, we had one more non-mandatory Remembrance boss to beat. To get to him, we first have to kill the Golden Hippo, and small hiccups aside, the Hippo goes down on the second try. Now it was time for running. I make a miraculous landing at the bottom of the ladder, bang my head against the wall, and make it to the Darklight Catacombs. I abuse the torch to quickly make my way through this hellhole before challenging the boss Yori. The fight against Yori is also pretty miserable with all of his summons and teleporting away bullshit, but apparently you can perform a backstab loop on him, which I will definitely abuse the next time I fight him. After Torrent picks a page off my dad's playbook, I sneakily make my way through the forest and make it to Midra's Manse with a warm welcoming. I pull a few levers, perform some dangerous stunts and try out the local cuisine before facing our next boss Midra. And no, it's not this guy, but it's what this guy turns to. In my opinion, Midra is one of the better bosses of the DLC. He looks pretty cool compared to the rest, with a pretty cool moveset, he's also scaled pretty well and is tanky, and the second phase adds that perfect oomph to the fight, with the occasional one-shot. But with enough practice, even our beloved Flaming Hot Cheeto meets a fiery death.
Okay. Solid. That was fun. What a great boss, dude.
Only 3 bosses left, and the ancient Ra ruins were next. I make sure to kill Devonia just for the flex before making it to the least sexy lady infused with an animal battle in souls. Even though this was my only second time fighting her, this fight was pretty simple. The damage from my jump attacks and the occasional stagger just blasted this boss away. Sadly, she does give me chlamydia on the second phase, and I don't have the pills to deal with it, so I experience a brutal death. But on the very next attempt, I remember to put on my condom, and this time, I'm the one that gives her the burning sensation. Unga Bunga for the win. The high from the Skadoo avatar was wearing off, so I decided to burn up again and make it to Inner Limb. This entire area is just an absolute shit show, with some of the worst running sections in Souls, and to top it all off, we get an amazing fight for it all. Needle Knight Leda and her Cuckmen. This fight is just garbage, so I want to get past it as soon as possible, and Natan here is going to help me do it. On the first few attempts, I decided to go with the Unga Bunga method, which showed some success but ultimately failed. So I went for a more calculated approach, and with Natan helping me separate the foes, we quickly take down this whack-ass trio. 07 Natan, time for the final boss. I guess the pain from Messmer kicking my ass for 2 hours is already worn off, so I dare to say this before entering the fight.
Problem, I don't think this is gonna take me more than 50 tries. But let's see. Here we go.
But rather than telling you what happened, allow me to show you. Yeah, it took me 2 hours to get Radam past half HP, then another 20 just to get there again, just to have this happen.
I don't know what to do against that attack, bro. I genuinely don't know what the fuck to do against that fucking attack.
Also, the fact that I was not willing to go over Skadoosh level 12 wasn't doing me any favor, but I was willing to suffer for the challenge. I had a lot of fun fighting Radam over and over again with nothing but mediocre damage, but after almost 4 hours, I decided to make a change. So I went and opted further into Dex, as I was never gonna use Messmer's Orb in this fight. Let's see if this had any significant improvement, and of course not. I ended up fighting Radam for 7 hours, dying over and over and over again. But I will never lose to a pedo-turning, body-snatching, heart-stealing bitch-asshole like Mikola. So I go over and over again, and eventually, the run will come.
Alright, Schmadan. Let's tussle. What?
I promise you, 1,000-year voyage.
This is
guided
fine.
by passion.
Okay. Ah. I'm free.
Holy shit, was this boss tough. But hey, it wouldn't be a challenge run if I was having fun, right? Anyways, we have one more fight on the menu. The true final boss.
Curse you!
This was my second fight against Bale, and this time I didn't have Egon with me, so I had to get used to the fight against Medir's sugar daddy. This fight is just a sensory overload, as there are 3 million flashy things shooting at your face at every given moment, and I mean that in the most positive way of the manner.
Okay.
Bale, though, sadly, is nothing like Radahn and exists in the non-radical bosses area of Elden Ring, so that means with a little bit of practice, I can make Egon proud.
I would love for him to stagger though. Yeah! There we go. And that is Elden Ring. All 11 major bosses with Messmer build only. There's only one thing left to do.
To be honest, I really enjoyed this Messmer build, and the Ash of War is reason enough for me to recommend you to try it. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Twitch to watch me live. Until the next one, stay natty. Peace out.
That's all I wanted to do. GG's.